They are exceptionally rare, and the reason you haven't seen so many is because there's so few out there in the world. And in fact, Botswana itself is not a big producer of diamonds, even though it's one of the biggest producers of diamonds in the world. So you're right; they're very rare, and this one is an exceptional find for the country. And in fact, this is the biggest diamond that the country has ever found of a blue tone.
How does it compare, rather, compared to other blue diamonds that have been found elsewhere in the world? In terms of size, that is?
It's a very interesting question. I think people will look at diamonds through a multitude of lenses because there's a number of attributes you need to consider. There's a size, there's a clarity, there's a color, there's a purity. So depending on all of those attributes, you rise and fall up and down the rankings. But if you look at the totality of the attributes of this particular stone, the Okavango Blue, it ranks amongst up there with the best.
All right then. So moving forward though, I remember the last massive find that we spoke about when it comes to Botswana in its diamond industry was Lesedi La Rona, and that hit the market for about $53 million. How much do you expect you're going to get for this one, for the Okavango Blue?
It's a great question, and it's always the first question that gets asked. And I think we're quite cautious on speculating on what the ultimate value is going to be. And you can understand that a stone of this size and rarity, really the value differentials between buyers, collectors could be huge. I mean, we're talking the order of millions of dollars. So it's very difficult to put a price on something like this. What's important is finding a connection between a buyer and the stone. And I have no doubt that when this comes to the market, that there'll be a fair few of those out there.
Right, let's just roll back slightly to the chemistry side of things, because diamonds generally are highly compressed carbon over millions of years, lots of heat, lots of pressure. But in order to create this vibrant blue hue, what exactly gets added to that equation?
So the unique element that appears in a blue diamond is actually boron. So boron is what gives it that blue hue. So that's what makes it distinctive from other diamonds. This is also called a type 2B diamond, which are also very rare. Less than 1% of all diamonds around the world are of a type 2B classification. And this all amounts to how this blue tone appears in the diamonds. And we need to also remember, a stone which is dated anything between 500 million and 3 billion years old is really where this stone sits. So it's difficult to say, but it puts time in perspective if you think about it that way.
Indeed, certainly does. It tells us just how short a time we've had on this little planet of ours. But turning to the wider end of the industry, I know Botswana has put a lot of emphasis into having the polishing and the cutting side of things being done within the country instead of having the raw stone shipped off to London or elsewhere to be cut. Was the polishing and cutting for this stone, for the Okavango Blue, done in Botswana?
So your observation is absolutely right. Botswana is, apart from being an ethical producer of diamonds, and it has been for near on 50 years now, there's a multitude of activities from the diamond mining industry which take place in the country, from exploration, mining, cutting, polishing, and now the sales of rough diamonds, which is what Okavango Diamond Company are engaged in. With this particular stone, there's probably only a handful of people around the world who are qualified to cut and polish these types of stones because they're so unique, so rare, so valuable, and it's quite a technical process to manipulate the color within the stone to get the optimal outcome. So this was actually polished by a small team of expert craftsmen in New York over a period of 2 to 3 months.
Looking at the diamond, though, because of the brilliant hue, its rarity and so on, this, to some extent, this provides the counter-argument to those who argue that the future of the diamond industry lies more with the lab-grown stuff as opposed to what we dig out of the ground in places like Botswana and South Africa.
The lab-grown diamond is like many industries, it's causing kind of, I suppose, a disruption of sorts in the diamond industry. But I think there's an absolute strong market in the eyes of many consumers towards the natural product.